My name is John Paul White from Florence, Alabama. When I write, typically I follow my nose the whole time. So I read everything I can before ever sitting down. I watch as many movies as possible. I don't listen to a lot of music, but I do take in every conversation I have with anybody. It's probably going to become a song. So what I try to do is when I sit down, I be as present as humanly possible and just kind of be a conduit for that stuff to fall out on a page and not try to steer. If I ever sit down with an idea, it's usually not going to work out to be the best song because I force myself to write that emotion, that thought process. I'm forcing myself into that box. If I just get as educated as possible and as inspired as possible and then sit down and let things happen, it's always the songs that I'm the proudest. I would say that the most memorable show was the first one because it was terrifying because I hadn't done anything in a couple of years, a little more. And when I did that show, we didn't promote it. We walked in there and did it as kind of a guinea pig test for me to see if I would run screaming to the hills after, like, oh yeah, this is what I never wanted to do again. But all went well and spoke to a lot of people after the show that really connected with what I was doing. And so I realized really quickly that's why I started doing it in the first place. So that's still the touchstone for me is that first show. And as long as I continue feeling that same connection with people, I'll continue doing it. It's so easy for me to sleep in my own bed and go to my daughter's dance recitals and my kids' football games, and I can write songs and I can play songs on my back porch and be perfectly happy. And we've got a little record label back home called Single Lock Records. So I can be creative through other individuals. And I thought, do you really want to be touring again? Do you really want to be, slogging away in a van and is that the life you want again? And I realized that what made me want to do that, what gets me out of the house and makes me want to do it, is that connection I have and the connection people have with me through those songs every night. And that makes me want to do it. That makes me a little less homesick every time that I'm calling my kids. It works out. Beulah is a term that we used around my house when I was growing up. My dad would call my sister Beulah, just like a term of endearment. And I had a great aunt named Beulah. Beulah is a word that you hear a lot in the South in reference to heaven, typically gospel songs talking about Beulah land. But the reason I wanted to use it is because there's a philosopher, William Blake, that had his own kind of philosophy, his own mythology for his religious beliefs. And he called this spiritual place you could go and heal and recenter, get it all together. He called that place Beulah. And I thought, that's exactly what I've been doing. So it's a perfect moniker for this record. It represents where I've been, where my brain has been for the past couple of years, but it also references where I'm from and my history and my ancestry.